Steady, Hariom everyone. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes, so we will.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Yeah, so we will start the class. 10th and the 11th verse. Someone wants to chant? Okay. Is there no sound? Can you hear? Can't hear? Okay, I'll just.
You are on mute, I think.
Right. Okay. We've finished with the invocation. Sorry, I was on mute. But we finished the invocation. So we'll just continue with the class. Thank you. 10th and 11th verse. Someone wants to chant? I guess now you can hear. Yeah. So follow me, someone. Okay. Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha.
Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha.
Shushke nire kaha kasaraha.
Shushke nire kaha kasaraha.
Kshine vitte kaha parivaraha.
Kshine vitte kaha parivaraha.
Gyate tattve kaha sansaraha.
Gyate tattve kaha sansaraha.
Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha. शुष्के नीरे कः का सारः
वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः का सारः
क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारः ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः
क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारः ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः
वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः का सारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारः ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः
वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः का सारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारः ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः
मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वम्
मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वम्
हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम्
हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम्
मायामयमिदमखिलं हित्वा
मायामयमिदमखिलं हित्वा
ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा
ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा
मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम्
मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम्
मायामयमिदमखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा
मायामयमिदमखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा
मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम् मायामयमिदम् अखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा
मा कुरु धनजन यौवनगर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम् मायामयमिदमखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा
Next verse, someone wants to try? We started this, right? 12th verse? No? Did?
We started the 12th verse.
Okay. Someone wants to chant after me?
I'll chant.
Okay. दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः
दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः
शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः
शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छति आयुः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छति आहुः
I'll do that again. कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्ययाहुः
गच्छत्यायुः
गच्छत्यायुः
तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशावायुः
तदपि न मुञ्चत् या sorry, can you
तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशावायुः
तदपि न मुञ्चत् याशा वायुः
दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः
दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत् याशावायुः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्ययाहुः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्ययाहुः
गच्छत्यायुः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्ययाहुः
गच्छत्यायुः
कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्ययाहुः
गच्छत्यायुः
गच्छत्यायुः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत् याशावायुः
Very good. दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशावायुः
दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत् याशावायुः
Very good, very good. I thought we'd start with the next verse also. Okay, I think we'll just.
You had given us a homework. You had asked us to think about किसकी इच्छा है ये? क्या है यह इच्छा? From this shloka.
हाँ, right. Yes, yes. कौन सी इच्छा जाती नहीं है? Was that the homework? कौन सी इच्छा? हाँ. Thank you for reminding. Anyone did it? Not for public ears, is it? We will take it up after we stop the broadcast. This is a private session, not for public ears. But thank you for reminding. Oh, yes, I had given this homework. Tadapina munchati asha vayuhu. The Dinaya Minayo Sayam Prataha. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Day and night follow each other, morning and evening follow each other, spring and winter come and go. Punaha ayataha, come again and again. Kalaha kridati, time is playing. Gachati ayuhu, life is going. Even then, tadapi, even then. Na munchati asha vayuhu, even then this vayu, gust of asha, hope, does not leave us. We don't get freed of it. मतलब उम्र निकल जाती है लेकिन हमारी आशा क्षीण नहीं होती है. Here the translation for asha is desire, but asha we all understand as hope. It is the hope that continues till the last. किस चीज की होप है जो जाती नहीं है? Very good. If you can, without getting personal, if you want to generalize it, if anybody has picked up a general hope, which will be Shanti.
शांति
Okay.
और हैप्पीनेस वो हैप्पीनेस तो मतलब I don't know what we are looking for, some happiness जो कभी जाएगी ना, सिर्फ आती है.
Correct, correct. So these are those general terms that Vedanta has entirely addressed, saying as long as you have a vidya, ये सब आशा तो तुम्हारी रहेगी. For hope, a hope for happiness, hope for peace, hope for harmony, hope for freedom, hope for absoluteness of all these states, changeless state. That is a hope जो जाती नहीं है. Later on, not for public ears, but later on, what are the specific hopes that center around these general hopes? What is my specific hope that I actually is pointing towards these general hopes? If I say, for example, maybe everybody has a hope for happiness. Where is my particular hope for happiness? Where am I looking for it? जो जाती नहीं है. So again and again, I get disturbed because that hope is probably not getting fulfilled. And if it is getting fulfilled, I have attachment to it. Then I start showing symptoms of samsar because that hope for happiness can either be fulfilled or not fulfilled. If it is getting fulfilled, I will be attached to it. I will cling to it. I will get angry if it gets disturbed, if it gets interrupted. All those, I'll start comparison. किसी और को ज़्यादा है, मेरी कम है, etc. या मेरी ज़्यादा है, I'll get arrogant. So अगर मेरी वो होप पूरी हो रही है, तो there's a whole lot of another set of things that opens up with it. उस उम्मीद के साथ जो पूरी हो रही है, एक पूरा realm of संसार खुल रहा है. On the other side, अगर वो मेरी उम्मीद पूरी नहीं हो रही, then there is another set of samsar that starts to linger. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, or I'm unhappy, or I'm still looking for other areas. यहाँ नहीं है तो I think कहीं और होगी. So I start my pursuit in other areas. In this manner, this verse has said, जीवन निकल जाता है, मगर क्या नहीं निकलता हमसे, हमारे से, हम में से. जो चीज नहीं निकलती है वो है some आशा for a future state of a happiness. That's an important statement. It's an आशा for a future happiness. इससे अच्छी, आज से अच्छा. वो एक आशा जो लगी हुई है that tells us something will be better tomorrow. What is it making us do? It makes us miss our present. वो आशा हमें अभी नहीं जीने देती. And most of us, if we look at our average lives, very safely we can say, if we have found the leisure of coming, attending these classes, these pursuit of Shastra, if we have the bhagyam in our life, that means our present is already far above average. We are already living a life far above average, which means my present state of happiness, my present state of contentment, my present state of fulfillment should be equivalent to what I already have. That आशा that कल I will have, या ये हो जाएगा फिर मुझे और मिलेगी शांति, मैं घर बदलूं तो शांति होगी, मैं जॉब बदलूं तो शांति होगी, मेरे पास ये आ जाए तो शांति होगी, मेरा ये हो जाए तो अच्छा होगा. We even use words like not so far as shanti and have अच्छा होगा अगर ये हो जाए तो, which means what? अच्छा अभी नहीं है क्योंकि वो नहीं है. जो भी होना है वो अभी नहीं है. आशा है कि वो हो जाए तो अच्छा हो जाएगा. ये आशा, look at this very very carefully. ये आशा अपना स्वरूप बदलती रहती है, बहरूपी है. It will keep changing its face, but the asha will never leave throughout life. You will go after some asha or the other. different, but it will never be when you are freed of asha. Shankara says here, this is the 12th verse, and he says, careful that this asha is what is keeping you in samsara. I just explained, if the asha is getting fulfilled, also I have samsara. If the asha is not getting fulfilled, also I have samsara. दोनों में संसार गति है. इच्छा पूरी हो रही है, आशा पूरी हो रही है, तो I do not come to a point where I say, now I have no more asha. I have no more hopes now. When you say no more hope in English, it almost sounds very dejected state, hopeless. I am a hopeless state. I have no hope, no more hope left. No. Asha nahi hai means I am actually risen above the dependency of the fulfillment of asha. अब आशा मतलब मिल गया तो बहुत अच्छा है, नहीं मिला तो भी अच्छा है, तो भी उतना ही अच्छा है अगर बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं है. मिल गया तो बहुत अच्छा, नहीं मिला तो भी अच्छा. Means I am content in the present. I am fulfilled in the present. That is Shankara's message. Unless and until you are careful of curbing these false ashas, जो जगत में हमें डाल देती है, उनके परस्यूट में डाल देती है, unless and until we are careful in managing these ashas, we will have no time left for Brahma Padam Tvam Pravisha Viditva. Having known that whole Jagat is Maya Mayam, previous verse, it is only ever changing. Give it up so that you can free the mind and contemplate to enter Brahma Padam. This is up to this point, he says, once you have freed your mind from all these false ashas, automatically Bhaj Govindam after every verse. Now, after the 12th verse, this is called these first set of 12 verses are called Dwadasha Manjarika Stotram. Manjarika means bouquet. I think you can't see this. Wait, just start. Read. Manjarika is bouquet. Bouquet means bouquet of flowers. These 12 verses, first 12 verses are Dwadasha, 12. Dasha, das, Dwa, 2. 10 plus 2, Dwadasha. Dwadasha Manjarika Stotram. These are all stotrams. Like any flower, it's a bouquet of flowers, these 12 flowers. They're attributed directly to Shankara. As we started with the story, he was saying it to the grammarian. Shankara himself has said these verses. Just as a flower, fragrant, even from far off, it gives you a fragrance. It's pleasing to look at. It is full of, it's pleasant. So all these verses give you benefits on knowing them. After this, there'll be Charapatta Manjarika Stotram. In between is some acharya must have fit this verse inside to say that these first 12 verses were given by Shankara himself. And the following 14 verses are actually attributed to one student of his. Remember, they were all going on the ghat early morning, he with his students, 14 of them. And each one in refrain as an answer to Shankara, saying, we have understood, we have received your knowledge, and as an answer back, not an answer back is the wrong word, it's replying back saying this is what we have understood. So each verse is given by one person. Some scholars and some acharyas have given some name of these. He has some 4 very famous uh, students who have themselves gone on to become great acharyas, and they have written great work on Shankara's commentaries. Each one of them has been given, but some verses don't have a name also. But the following 14 verses, 13 onwards, is given by one student each, not by Shankara. That is, some people claim that. Now, here is just an in between verse to say this. Dvadasha Manjarika Bhihi. Manjarika Bhihi means, as I just said, bouquet of 12 flowers, Dvadasha. Asheshaha Kathitaha. Asheshaha means without leaving out anything. Asheshaha is such a beautiful word. मतलब सब कुछ दे दिया. In 12 verses में Shankaracharya has given everything, the entire knowledge that is needed for anybody who wants to come to the marg of moksha. 12 verses is enough. In the Gita also we say that. जो real seekers हैं, जो genuine seekers हैं, even one verse is enough for them. अगर आपको एक श्लोक समझ में आ जाता है, any one shlok that has capacity and capability to put you on the marg of moksha. These 12 verses are a bouquet. Means different aspects have been highlighted in these 12 verses, but they are complete knowledge in themselves. That is what is meant by asheshaha. Shankara has left nothing. Kathitaha has been told. To whom? Vaiyakaranasya. To that Vaiyakarana. Vaiyakarana, to that grammarian, to that old grammarian. Shankara has given these 12 verses. Complete knowledge has been told by Shankara to that grammarian. Eshaha upadeshaha abhut. It was imparted to him. This upadesh was imparted to him. Abhut, diya tha, past tense. It's in a far off past tense. बहुत पहले. You know, not in our sense of existence. Very बहुत पहले का है ये. He has given him before. Who has given? Now he gives the stuti of Shankaracharya by first saying Vidya Nipunaihi. जो खुद विद्या में निपुण है. Who is nipun? Expert, skillful, dexterous, specialist. Nipun ka, what would be the right English translation of nipun? He is,
Complete or perfect?
sorry?
Complete or perfect?
Complete, perfect, skilled, clever, who knows his subject very well. Nipun hai. He knows his knowledge very well. Vidya में वो निपुण है. कौन है वो? श्रीमद शंकर भगवत चरणैहि. By Bhagavad Charanam. Yes, accomplished. By Sri Shankara Bhagavad Pad himself. So the 12 verses, I'm repeating this with great conviction. Any seeker, any student, बहुत ज्यादा शास्त्र की उसको जरूरत नहीं है. हमारी नजरिया क्या, especially these are prakarna granthas said to be introductory. Even one verse is enough to put us on the path, right path towards moksha. Asheshaha, these 12 verses are complete. So if someone can even keep these 12 verses as a guide map for themselves, अपने जीवन को उसके हिसाब से चलाते रहें, अपने अपने एटीट्यूड्स बदलें, अपने अपने नजरिए बदलें, सिर्फ उन 12 वर्सेस का ज्ञान निचोड़ के अपने अंदर अपने से अपने को एक कर लें उस ज्ञान से, वो ज्ञान आपका होना चाहिए। जो शंकरा ने वो 12 वर्सेस ग्रामेरियन को दिया है, वो 12 वर्सेस का ज्ञान अगर मेरा बन जाए, means I can see those verses. It's not that I know those verses. I can see those verses. That is why all our rishis were drashtas. ज्ञान जब आपका हो जाता है तो आपको दिखता है। If someone says, do you have knowledge of fixing an automobile? Someone who's an expert, a mechanic, expert at fixing, कान उसके पकड़ लेते हैं साउंड से कौन सी प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है। दैट्स एन एक्सपर्ट, निपुण है वो अपने शास्त्र में, अपने ज्ञान में वो निपुण है। उसको सुन के दिख जाता है प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है, उसने अभी देखा नहीं है, मगर उसका ज्ञान इतना निपुण है कि उसको मन दिख जाता है, ऑलमोस्ट 99% वो श्योर होता है दिस इज वेयर द प्रॉब्लम इज कमिंग फ्रॉम, जस्ट हियरिंग द साउंड ऑफ द मशीन। दैट्स हाउ दोज वर्सेस हेल्प इन लाइफ। अगर हमारे अपने बन जाते हैं ये ज्ञान, हमारा अपना हो जाता है, दैट इज हाउ दैट नॉलेज इट कम्स आउट एज दिखता है। So these are the 12 verses that Shankaracharya has himself written. And now from this verse actually that we had started before is given by one of his students, and he is Padmapad. One of the students is said to be. Who's written this? I haven't yet found the source. It is obviously some commentary in Sanskrit probably, where these names are given of each student who has said it. But it's nice, even if it's attributed like that, it gives us a flavor of how a shishya, his shishya, was able to also return back. These are charapata, these are now 14, a bouquet of 14 flowers. एक एक अपना फ्लावर, एक एक अपना अर्पण कर रहा है। What is this Padmapad is saying? Padmapad was one of his very amongst the 4 important disciples, and he has also written, it's just by the way information for those, he has also written a sub-commentary on Shankaracharya's Brahma Sutra's Bhashya. So it's a sub-commentary where Shankara has written a commentary on Brahma Sutra. Padmapada has written notes as if sub-commentary, Tika on Bhashyam. Certain points he's elaborated, this is what Shankara means karke. That's Padmapada Uvacha. So this verse is Padmapada Uvacha. And what is that verse? We've done that. I'll just chant it once. काते कांता धनगत चिंता वातुलकिंतव नास्ति नियंता त्रिजगति सज्जन संगतिरैक भवति भवार्णवतरणे नौका। काते कांता, who's your wife? Kanta is referred to as wife, but it also means who's your beloved, as in who's one whom you are close to. It doesn't have to be wife or husband, anyone. Whoever you get attached to, आप बहुत करीब समझते हो अपने आप को उनसे, that is Kanta. It has a particular meaning of closeness. It can attribute to any, but from there the word Kanta started becoming synonyms with wife. So generally speaking, who's your wife? Chinta about who is your wife would be a little misplaced. The chinta will be regarding your wife. What about your wife? The future of your close associates. Once you grow up to become an adult and you start having responsibilities in your life, हमारे मन में विचार किस चीज के चलते हैं? When we enter Grahastha ashram, when we start having responsibilities, our minds are engaged in acquisitions and preservation for our close ones. अपने परिवार के लिए, अपने बच्चों के लिए, अपनी फैमिली के लिए, we have to secure them, we have to do what is good for them, and सारा मन उन बातों में लगता है, उसमें प्लानिंग होता है, उसी में we are all the time engaged in that. Kate kanta dhana gata chinta. And worries about future in the sense dhana gata. What will happen if there is loss of wealth? Gata. If the wealth is gone. Etc. etc. So various kinds of anxiousness that comes up. Worries. Anxiousness with reference to our close people. Family in general. Family and friends. A certain anxiousness where we become we tend to slip the boundary of responsibility and we tend to try and get over responsible. The word is over responsible. We lose the line of what is my duty and the worry takes over and you try and be over responsible. That anxiousness that comes up occupies your mind full time because it's a constant process. Vatula, that's a sambodhan. One who's wandering like a wind. Means हवा के जैसे मन उसका बह रहा है. Which in other words means who's anxious from within. O jittery one means इतना व्याकुल जो हो रहे हो आप. Padmapad is telling, now not the grammarian, he's giving as a response to us. आपका मन जो इतना बहता रहता है, कभी ये करना है, कभी ऐसे कर, कभी ये कर लेते हैं, इससे उसका. So health and wealth and futures में जो हमारा मन planning and scheming में लगा रहता है, ये सोच के कि मुझे करना है, I only have to do. And we step over boundaries. We step up, means we break the boundary of not understanding what is my actual capacity or my real delegated work. चिंता में हम ज्यादा करने लगते हैं, हम कुछ और सोचने लगते हैं और वो सोच हमें पकड़ लेती है. Here Padmapad is saying, Kim tava nasti niyanta? For you, is there not a controller? And that is a great relief. Too much of a planning of a future is wasting again your time now, because what has to happen you will never know. If your present time is not managed in doing what is right, which he's saying in the next sentence, then the worry will occupy your mind और आपका वक्त निकल जाएगा और जो करना है वो तो रियल में रह जाएगा. This is an example to show what worry is. Is there not a niyanta? Is there not a controller for you? Do you not trust that there is a controller for you? Do you not trust that there will be provision? जो होगा ठीक होगा. There was a mother, I'm talking now 20, 30, 40 years ago. From 20 to 40, of course, it's a big gap, but just arbitrarily. 20, 30, 40 years ago, she had 5 daughters. And she said She would, because of 5 daughters in those days, 20, 30, 40, to marry off a daughter, you needed a lot of collection. Marry her well, marry her well off. And they would travel internationally a lot. So she said, and these words have stuck because this verse coincides with that. बहुत बड़ी सीख मिलती है इससे. This is a real life example. She said, मैं जिस भी देश में, and बच्चे छोटे छोटे थे तब तो, पांचों बेटियां. She says, मैं जिस भी देश में जाती थी, her husband was a diplomat. So जहाँ पे भी मैं जाती थी, I'd started collecting things that tomorrow when the daughters get married, it'll go to them. So small things like very fine cloth, very many things she'd collect. I'm just giving some example vaguely, but आप समझ सकते हो एक माँ अपनी बेटी के लिए क्या क्या इकट्ठा करती है कि उसकी शादी में मुझे उसको देना है. So lot of things she had collected, because ये इसके काम आ जाएगा, ये उसके काम आ जाएगा, ये उसके काम आ जाएगा, and she was maintaining it year after year. There's a lot of effort would go, because all these fine cloth would, the cloth is just one example. There were fine china, and there were so many things like that. When her daughters grew up, most of them didn't need it. Why? Because the styles had gone, the fashion had gone. They were no longer relevant in the present context of their life. It was not their taste of things. They didn't want to carry it forward. They didn't want it in the first. Most of them did. Most of the things she was looking to give away to someone who would be using it better, because they were all unused. Ye first line of the verse, if you can relate to this example. Is there not a niyanta for you? Is there not a controller for you? As a mother, what did she do? Vatula. She was worrying for her daughter. She thought she's doing the right thing. But she was planning 20, 30 years ahead. 20-30 साल में उन्होंने इतना पैसा खर्चा किया है, इतना एफर्ट किया है. The whole thing later on has not much significance left. Is this getting conveyed? Example. Kate kanta. You place it with children, you place it with grandchildren, you place it with anybody. When you worry about उनके लिए मुझे कुछ करना है, उनके जीवन के लिए, recently also someone said, she said, all I can do is just leave a lot of money behind for my daughter. She's mentally not stable, will probably have no caretaker, may live alone if the parents go away. So now what is the mother's concern? Real concern. But what is a mother's concern? I have to leave behind for her a secure thing. Now, correct thing कि हम सबको ये सही लगती है. करो. Shastra is not saying मत करो. But आप करते हुए साथ में क्या कर रहे हो? चिंता. Correct. The worry part of it is what the Shastra is saying. Do what you should do. As a mother, only you can think for the welfare of your child. Please do that. But trust the hands of that Niyanta, who will be always there as a provider. You cannot forecast life the way you think it is going to work out for someone else's life. चाहे वो आपके खुद के क्लोजेस्ट क्यों ना हो, आपके बच्चे हों, आपके खुद के हस्बैंड वाइफ हो, किसी और जीवन के लिए आप फोरकास्ट नहीं कर सकते कि उसके जीवन में क्या होगा. आपके ड्यूटी में जो है आप करो, बट व्हाई वरी, जो व्याकुल होते हो. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट मदर इज ऑल्सो suffering a lot, because the चिंता is constant in her. चलती रहती है मन में. Trust. The second line is what I am absolutely, I hook onto this probably. Is there kim tava nasti niyanta? क्या तुम्हारे लिए, look at the words, the spirit of the words, क्या तुम्हारे लिए कंट्रोलर नहीं है? क्या तुम्हारे लिए भगवान नहीं है? क्या तुम्हारे लिए वो नियंत्रण नहीं है? क्या तुम्हारे लिए वो नहीं है जो सबको प्रोटेक्शन देता है? क्या तुम्हारे लिए नहीं है? In other words, Padmapad here is giving us this pinch, prick, hurting us in that sense, a little, that hurts your, why are you worrying? Leave it to the one who is Phaldata. फलदाता कौन है? ईश्वर है. आपकी ड्यूटी में जो है आप करो, मगर चिंता नहीं करना. A contrast of it is another mother who also had a difficult daughter, challenging daughter. That mother said to everybody, when everybody says क्या होगा इसका, बड़ी होके क्या होगा, कैसे जिएगी, क्या करेगी, अपनी किस्मत लेके आइए, अपनी किस्मत जिएगी. And everything that the mother could do was right, because what did she do? As a mother, what could she have done? She did. What is not in her hands? What is not in her hands? The gati of her own daughter is not in her hands. She is not going to write what this daughter has brought with her in her future. The two different contrast examples. Here this verse, Kim tava nasti niya, क्या तुम्हारे लिए वो भगवान बैठा नहीं है? क्या हर जीव का रक्षक वो नहीं है? करेक्ट. क्या वो रक्षक नहीं है सबके लिए? वो रक्षक सबका है. तो आप करो जो आपको करना है, but he says trust. It's a very fine line of discernment. What is that line? मेरा कहाँ तक एक ड्यूटी, एक्शन, मेरा कर्म कहाँ तक करने का नियंत्रित है, नियोजित है. What falls in my portfolio to do, I should never escape from that. I should not compromise on that. जो मेरा पोर्टफोलियो है करने का, for my close ones, for my people, for those I am connected to, मेरा जो बनता है करने का, उसमें भगवान मुझे हमेशा शक्ति देना. मुझे हम कभी मत delusion में डालना कि मेरा नहीं बनता. What I need to do, I should be doing always. But I should also know where the line is. जिसका भाग्य अपना अलग भी है एक, उसके भाग्य की रेखा अपनी भी चलती है. उसकी भाग्य रेखा में मैं कितना कर सकती हूँ? जिसमें ये थिन लाइन का विजडम आ जाता है, they will never ever be erring, on false mental difficulties. नहीं होगी वो. क्यों नहीं होगी? क्योंकि जो कर सकते हैं वो कर रहे हैं, बाकी वो है. अब अगर उनकी किस्मत में दुखी लिखा है तो आप कुछ भी कर लो, क्या होगा? नहीं आप अवॉइड कर सकते. अगर आप कुछ भी करो सोच के कि मैं ये कर लूं, उसको दुख ना हो, अगर फिर भी आपको क्या पता. So I won't elaborate too much. I think we've all understood the gist of it. We've all understood the spirit of it. Kim tava nasti niyanta? क्या तुम्हारे लिए वो नियंत्रित? Who's saying this? Padmapad himself is an acharya. He is Shankara's student, primary, one of the first four important students. As Padmacharya, he is called Shankara Acharya, Shankaracharya, Padmacharya, Padma Acharya. As an Acharya, he's studying all of us. This Vatul, jittery word is the best translation I could find. There are many meanings to this. जो अंदर से ना हवा के झोंके के जैसे घूमते रहते हो सोच में, क्या तुम्हारे लिए वो नियंता नहीं है? Then he says, free your mind from those worries. जो करना है वो करो, but चिंता को त्याग के that mind employ it in what? Sajjana sangati. In seeking the company of Sajjana. Sat Jan. We've done this before. Sat Sangatve Nisangatvam. Sat Jan. The people who are righteous, people who are virtuous, people who are attached to Sat. Sat के pursuit में जो हैं, उनकी company में रहो. Sat Sang. And yes, that is also the other verse that can be pointed as Sajjana Sangati Eka Bhavati Bhava Arnava Tarane Nauka. That is the only boat. Nauka. What is the Nauka? Sajjana Sangati is the boat. For what? Crossing over. Tarane, in crossing over. What? Bhava Arnava. This ocean of samsara. Bhava Sagar कहते हैं ना हम संसार को, ये भव सागर है. It is deep, it is fathomless, it is limitless. संसार को पार करने के लिए you have only Sajjana Sangati Eka Bhavati. This alone is there. Which means, what is worry? If you just take the two halves, what is worry? Samsar. इस worry से हटने के लिए Sajjana Sangati alone is the nauka. That will help you cross over this tendency to falsely keep thinking. Is that okay? This verse is clear to everybody? So, Kate Kanta Dhanagata Chinta. So, the word is only Chinta for anything, health, wealth, possession, material, kisi mein bhi dal do. Vatula, O one who is always wandering, jittery. Kim tava nasti niyanta? Is there not one who is an ordainer for you? Trijagati, in all the three worlds. In any Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, Suvarlok means, or you can say Swargalok, Bhulok and Narkam. किसी भी तरीके से आप कह लो, in all the three worlds, there is only one boat that helps you cross this state of your mind, which is Sajjana Sangati. And that is Padmapad's verse. Then we have, one second. Now the next verse is now given by another student who's now, once this person, you can imagine this flow that must be going on. One student said this, and then they must have all said Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhajamurate, Samprapte. In an inspired state, they were all. So then another student then who's a Totakacharya. Totakacharya is also very famous as he's written a Totaka Ashtakam, and there is a special meter in which he would write Totaka meter, Chandas it is called, Totaka Chandas. He's also given some very good texts which are helpful in understanding the Mahavakyam. So he says here in this verse, we'll just start this verse. I'll chant just here. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha kashayambara bahukrita veshaha pashyannapi chana pashyati mudaha udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha. I'll chant again. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha kashayambara bahukritaveshaha pashyannapi cha na pashyati moda udara nimittam bahukritaveshaha. He says, Totakacharya says, he is describing all the people, different people, who take to their own concepts of pursuing spiritual path. अपनी अपनी सोच से वो ऐसा लगता है, वो खुद सोचते हैं कि हम कर रहे हैं, जो कर रहे हैं वो ठीक कर रहे हैं. But it is all only in an external change. सिर्फ बाहर के बदलाव को आप अगर लक्षण दे दें स्पिरिचुअल symbols का. What are the spiritual symbols? Change of clothes. Change them from your regular householder clothes to simple brahmachari clothes, or take sannyas clothes. Or people take all kinds of vratam. Some people pierce their body, some people don't comb their hair, some people say I will not touch money, some people remain on fast for the rest of their life, some people will say हम सिर्फ मौनम करते हैं, some people say हम देखते ही नहीं opposite gender को. A lot of some sampradayas are there, men who don't even look at women, even girl child. They won't look at a girl child also. So there are various ways. So Totakacharya is saying, very beautiful, very, very beautiful, very eye-opening. What is really to be spiritual? बाहर के लक्षणों से, if you have an identification to say, क्योंकि उनके लक्षण ऐसे दिखते हैं, therefore they must be. A lot of confusion in our country is because people allow the external appearances, and judging on the external appearances, they call someone ये तो गुरु है, ये तो ये है, ये तो ये है, ये तो महात्मा है, purely based on externals. अंदर क्या है किसी को नहीं पता. So he says here, हम जान भी नहीं सकते. So it doesn't mean कि सिर्फ external को लेके हमें एक ही conclusion करना है. There could be the right ones, but Totakacharya here is telling us, there are people who are jatilaha. When you go to Rishikesh and all these places, Varanasi, बाल उनके सारे knotted हैं, matted हैं, कंघी नहीं की हुई, बड़े बड़े हैं, मिट्टी चढ़ी हुई है, साधु के जैसे लगते हैं, भस्म लगा के रखे हैं अपने कपाल पे, and देख के 2 मिनट आपको भी कुछ शमशान में रहते हैं, all kinds of things. Jatilaha is one of them. Means he's only mentioning someone who has not, अपने बालों को they have twisted and knotted. बड़े बड़े. Somebody else is one who's a mundi. वो अपने बालों को मुंडन करा दिया है. Even in sampradayas, there are women also who do that when they take sannyas. They also shave off their hair. So there are some people who have matted hair. Contrast is some people who have shaved their head. दोनों हैं. Then there are someone who's lunchita keshaha. There are some sampradayas where they actually pluck one hair at a time. Yes, that's right. Jains, right? There are some sampradayas and Jains who do that. एक बाल उनके lunchita keshaha. They pull out their hair one by one. Then there are others, more people, who are kashaya ambara. Their clothes are kashaya, orange colored, ochre robes. Bahukrita vesha, adorned in different ways. In fact, knowing how that sampradaya is wearing their clothes, you can say ये तो ये sampradaya के हैं. Even amongst ochre. Ochre is one color, but even within that, अपने ochre कैसे पहनते हैं और वो अपने ochre कैसे पहनते हैं, ये कौन से संप्रदाय के हैं. By the way, external look itself, you can say they belong to this ashram, or this is their guru, this is their acharya. आप कह सकते हो. Variously dressed So they have changed their clothes, they have taken on a lifestyle which seems to have the sanction, लक्षणास of saying अब हम आध्यात्मिक जीवन जी रहे हैं. Very thin line. वो लक्षण ले लेते हैं जो लक्षण सोसाइटी में एक्सेप्टेड है आध्यात्मिक जीवन से. But who are they? Totakacharya is saying, पश्यन अपि च न पश्यति. उन्होंने लक्षण तो ले लिए आध्यात्मिक जीवन के, देखते हुए भी वो देख नहीं पा रहे. पश्यन अपि, पश्यन is in the sense of saying देखते हुए, continuous sense. देखते हुए भी न पश्यति, they do not see. What do they not see? They are so carried away in maintaining their external appearance that they are missing the essential point. Why did they take the lifestyle? क्यों लिया आपने ये जीवन का डिसिप्लिन? आप उसी में इतने उलझ जाते हो और संप्रदाय को, देयर आर आश्रम्स, मेंटेनेंस, वो चलता ही रहता है, उनका एक अपना ही व्यवहार चलता रहता है. I had a big argument with one of the संप्रदायस. संन्यास लेके फिर आप अपने भक्तों में, अपने शिष्यों को, आपके डिवोटीज को, ये मेरे, the gurus will say ये मेरे माँ बाप हैं. आप अपने माँ बाप को छोड़ के अब शिष्यों को अपने माँ बाप क्यों बना रहे हो? Beyond my, there must be reason. I'm not, here Bhaj Govindam is directly saying, they know best. I'm nobody to comment on it. But my mind would say to me, what are the external lakshanas? If you have taken to a life, are you, it is for me, it is not for them. I see there and I tell myself, if I take to a particular discipline of life, am I coming closer to what that discipline of life was for? I'll give a worldly example. I read this during when we were younger, and we had Miss India as, in one time we had Sushmita Sen and Aishwarya Rai, and I think suddenly there was like Miss India and Miss Universe was all from India. So what society was taken over completely by these beauties. And I remember reading somewhere in an interview, I think it was one of the two, or someone, doesn't matter who it was, but it was one of the beauty pageants winner. And they said, what disciplines you take? And she gave a beautiful list of disciplines. Uska खाने का intake, उसका exercise का intake, उनकी walking का जो उनको सिखाया जाता है, उनके, there's a particular term for it, something it is, to present themselves for such a pageant, to win it. They go through months of that discipline. And her last statement was, they'd stay away from their family. Some of them quit their studies to pursue this wholeheartedly. Her statement was, मैं ये सब कर रही हूँ उस चीज के लिए. उसका गोल उसके नजरिए में क्लियर था. I'm able to do all this. Is it not difficult? She said it is. But I am doing it for that. I have to maintain this lifestyle for that to be achieved. अब आप बाल अपने टेढ़े मेढ़े करके, विभूति भस्म लगा के, और सारे व्रत, मौन व्रत रख के, ये सब कुछ जो ले रहे, जो एक्चुअली में स्पिरिचुअल इज अ वर्ड, आध्यात्मिक साधन है. आपका ध्यान बालों में ज्यादा ना जाए इसलिए कहते थे कि चलो मेंटेन इट, या there were many reasons for it. Why they were becoming lakshanas? Why was it necessary to change the clothes? These are not wrong. They are important. इनका एक महत्व है. सत्संग में एक particular kind of a distraction and वो सब ना हो, उसके लिए there was a discipline. There is still a discipline. It's very helpful for the serious people, serious seekers. It's very helpful to maintain that. And it's a joy because prevents फालतू का involvement of a lot of things. You know? पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति. They are missing the whole point. आपने इतना सखत जीवन क्यों अडॉप्ट किया? आपने ये साधन क्यों लिए थे? आपने अपना परिवार क्यों छोड़ा? आपने अपने संबंध किसी भी संप्रदाय के साथ क्यों बनाए? आपने क्यों ये सब आध्यात्मिक गति को परस्यू करने की कोशिश की? और फिर आप वो सब करो जो आप वैसे भी दुनिया में करते. Makes no sense. पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति. मूढ़ः. Thotakacharya is also saying मूढ़ः. शंकराचार्य said, oh मूढ़मति to that वैयाकरण जो जिंदगी बिता रहा है अपने on a most redundant activity, जो उसको आगे चल के नहीं साथ उसके रहने वाली. He says they are मूढ़ः. उनकी सोच गलत है. And it's a very, even if they are sincere, it's a very thin line. When you start slipping in those external changes and you become another samsari, आपको पता नहीं चलता. आपका periphery बढ़ जाता है. You think you're representing a larger cause, but my question would be, your family, you could have done that within. Ishvara doesn't need lots. So he says, na moodaha. And now he gives this punch. इतना जोरों से लग मोह मुदकरा है ना ये. So it punches you. Why are they doing all this? Udara nimittam. Only to fill their bellies. It is just another vyapar. Only for the sake of survival. Only for the sake of sustenance of their life or their ashram or their sampradaya. Udara nimittam. निमित्त उनका सिर्फ उनका अपना सर्वाइवल है, सस्टेनेंस है. ये पूरा जीवन को आपने अपना घर बार छोड़ के, सब कुछ वो ड्यूटीज को छोड़ के आध्यात्मिक डिसिप्लिन्स को पकड़ के रखने की जगह आपने एक्सटर्नल चेंज करके अंदर आपका फिर भी क्या चल रहा है? उदर निमित्तम. Bahukritaveshaha. They take many appearances, various kinds of appearances, physical. You have all these. India is full of them. We are all full of them. Every few kilometers, we have a new sect of his own master, of their own leader, and they have huge followings also. Bahukritaveshaha. It's too much. But who are they? Who only have an external change without working on the internal change. ये हम नहीं कह रहे. Thotakacharya is telling a serious student कि if you decide to take on a life of higher values, it will be challenging. But always remember, through this verse, do not convert it back into another mechanism for just sheer survival. अपना उदर निमित्तम मत करना उसको. Just अपने लिए. In Hindi, if you say, it's a little more cruder, but it conveys the point. Just अपना पेट भरने के लिए. ये सब, because then people come to you thinking आप साधु हो, आप महात्मा हो, आप blessing दे दो, आप हमें वरदान दे दो, आपके आशीर्वाद से सब हो जाएगा, आप बस हमें आशीर्वाद दे दो. What hypnosis in a way it would be. Just to believe that it will work. It works because to some extent it works. But what is a line that you have to pick up, that you have to catch? External change, if I have decided to take on, I must align that external change with an internal change. ये मेरे लिए, किसी और के जजमेंट के लिए नहीं है. ये हमारे लिए है, अपने एज अ स्टूडेंट. ओके, think we are, yeah. Let's end this. The next verse we'll do next time. So we have finished 14th verse. Right. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much. And let's try to be on time next time. Try and be a little early because not 2, 3, 4 minutes is okay. 6 o'clock we'll start, and maybe 1 or 2 minutes I'll allow. After that, nobody's going to be admitted in the class. Okay, just as a discipline of the Shastra Vidya, especially those of us who are new, we need to be a little stricter. वरना ये सब उधर निमित्तम हो जाता है धीरे धीरे ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, है ना. ये डिसिप्लिन्स हमारी खुद की हैं, हमारे लिए है. Okay? So thank you everyone. We'll see you next time. God bless. Hari Om ji.
Recording stopped.
Hari Om. Let's see. Hari Om everyone.